The aliens had watched humans for years, studying their habits, cultures, and systems of governance. Their own society thrived on rigid hierarchies, where each member of their species was born into a defined rank and spent their lives fulfilling that role. They assumed humanity, with its apparent emphasis on military structure, followed a similar model. Captains commanded, lieutenants obeyed, and everyone else filled their roles with predictable efficiency. Or so the aliens thought. From the moment their alliance with humans began, the aliens were confident they understood their new partners. They dissected Earth systems, analyzing ranks, insignias, and protocols with the precision of a species that prided itself on order. They noted how captains held supreme authority on ships, delegating orders to their subordinates with strict adherence to procedure. Admirals oversaw larger fleets, ensuring smaller units remained aligned to strategic goals. It was all so clean, so easy to map onto their own systems. Yet there were gaps, strange inconsistencies in their understanding. The humans' records often mentioned individuals without formal military rank who seemed to wield unusual influence. Among these anomalies was the repeated appearance of someone called Document. The aliens initially dismissed this figure as inconsequential, a healer or technician, perhaps, with no bearing on command. But reports contradicted that assumption. Time and again, in both simulated exercises and live missions, Doc appeared at the center of pivotal moments, issuing directives that others followed without question. The aliens debated this anomaly in their council chambers. "It must be a title we don't understand," one argued, their voice resonating with certainty. "Perhaps it denotes a hidden rank, a classification above what they show us." Another dismissed the idea.
No.
Humans value deception. This Doc could be a spy, someone embedded to observe and manipulate. That would explain their influence, without formal recognition. Despite their theories, no definitive answer emerged. The humans, either unaware of the aliens' curiosity or choosing not to address it, provided no clarification. And so, the mystery of Doc lingered in their minds, a faint itch that refused to be scratched. When the opportunity arose to observe humans in a joint mission, the aliens seized it eagerly. This would be their chance to see the human hierarchy in action, to finally understand the nuances that eluded them. Their envoys boarded a human vessel with a mixture of anticipation and quiet superiority. They believed their own systems of governance to be superior, more disciplined, more logical. Surely, this mission would confirm their beliefs. What they did not expect was the sheer chaos of the humans' interactions. From the moment the mission began, the alien observers were thrown off balance. The humans were efficient, yes, but their efficiency came wrapped in layers of informality and unpredictability. Orders were given and followed, but there were jokes, laughter, and unspoken understandings woven into every exchange. In the midst of it all was Document. At first glance, Doc seemed unremarkable, a middle-aged human with an easy smile and no visible indicators of rank. Yet the crew treated Doc with a respect that bordered on reverence. The ship was silent, save for the hum of its systems, when disaster struck. A violent tremor rippled through the hull, followed by the unmistakable blare of emergency alarms. Lights flickered, and the crew sprang into action. The aliens, observing from the sidelines, initially felt a twinge of satisfaction. This was the moment they had anticipated, where the rigid structure of command would take over and demonstrate the strength of their shared system. At first, everything seemed to follow their expectations. The captain barked orders with authority, and the crew scrambled to respond. Yet, something shifted almost immediately. As the gravity of the crisis became clear, the focus of the crew turned not toward the captain, but toward Document. It was as if the unspoken trust they'd observed earlier had now crystallized into action. Doc was already moving, completely unfazed by the chaos. "What's the status on the reactor?" Doc asked, stepping into the heart of the command deck. "Heat levels are rising rapidly," an engineer replied, their voice tight with urgency. "We're approaching critical thresholds." "Shut down the secondary coolant loop," Doc said, the calmness of the instruction cutting through the tension like a blade. "It's feeding back into the main system." "Switch to manual override," and vent the excess heat into the auxiliary ducts. The engineer hesitated for only a fraction of a second. But that could destabilize the flow too. I know, Doc interrupted, their tone firm but not harsh. Trust me. Do it now. Without further question, the engineer complied, fingers flying across their console. Within moments, the alarms shifted, signaling a temporary stabilization. But Doc didn't stop. Medical team, prep the infirmary, Doc continued, turning to a nearby officer. If the venting causes a rupture, we'll have injuries to tria. Ensure the emergency containment protocols are ready in case the plasma lines are compromised. The aliens watched, stunned, as the crew followed these instructions without hesitation. The captain, who by all rights should have been issuing commands, stood back, deferring to Doc as if this were the natural order of things. Why does the leader not reassert control? One alien whispered to another, their confusion palpable. Perhaps Doc is asserting a hidden rank, another speculated. There must be an explanation. But the reality was far simpler and far stranger to the alien's rigid perspective. Doc's authority came not from rank or command but from competence, trust, and experience. The humans recognized that in this moment of crisis, Doc's expertise was what would save them. It wasn't a matter of hierarchy, it was a matter of survival. As the situation unfolded, Doc's voice continued to guide the crew. Every order was precise, every decision calculated. When the danger finally passed and the alarms faded into silence, the aliens found themselves grappling with a reality they could scarcely comprehend. Doc, a figure with no formal rank, had just commanded a ship in a crisis and succeeded. It was a demonstration of leadership that defied every principle the aliens held sacred. And yet it worked.